You mentioned Columbia.
Yes, I did.
You did
A
go
little
to
school on a little island called
right
Manhattan.
the Graduate School of
Yeah,
Journalism.
yeah.
So I remember. So this was it right after Ryerson
It
or
was right after Ryerson. I think everyone was going to Vegas for our like
oh,
fourth year thing.
right, yeah.
And I went to New York to see the school with my dad at that time. And we stayed in this tiny hotel. And because the room was really, really expensive already, my dad like packed a box of just crackers. And I remember sitting in the hotel room just eating crackers with him. I'm like, should we get like a fancy dinner? But he was just that frugal. Gluten-free cracker. I really enjoyed it. But like, yeah.
Tell us about the school
Sure.
and attending the school. Like
Yeah.
what was the lifestyle like there? How challenging was it?
So it was a really fast 1 year program.
Okay.
The campus is gorgeous. The students are very passionate about journalism. The teachers are great. I remember my first day, they taught us this. I think our dean was saying, a topic is not a story idea.
Right.
Because you're like, oh, I want to write about the gentrification of Harlem. He's like, but that's not a viewpoint. Like,
No.
how many people have written about that topic?
Yeah.
So I think for young storytellers and journalists, you really need to find how you want to tell that story. You don't want to repeat the same thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, totally.
So, like in the beginning, you're assigned to a beat, and my beat was Harlem. And I remember as a student, I was 23 at that time. I reported from gang funerals. I walked through the projects alone. I would never do those things now at this age because you're so much aware. But at that time, you're a student and you're like, I want to find a story. I'm journalist extraordinaire, you know?
Super motivated.
Yeah. Now
Willing
I
to
think
do anything.
back, I'm like, that was really dangerous. I should not have done that.
Right. But
Yeah.
you're here to tell the tale.
I was here to
That's
tell
good.
tale, and I was very wide-eyed and just really enjoyed my time at the school. A lot of the people that I met, I still keep in touch with. It was just a place where everyone was super passionate about journalism and storytelling, maybe sometimes a little bit more than me, because they're like, hey, did you read that New Yorker article? Did you read that New York Times? And I'm like, no, I did not. I just finished like Breaking Bad. Like, I'm just watching TV.
Yeah.
Because I went there because I enjoy making documentaries, and that's something that I aspire to do, make films. Yeah.
Speaking of Breaking Bad, were you hooked like right away with that show, or did it take a while?
So I'm a very resistant user and watcher. I'll like watch one episode and be like, I'll put it away for when I'm sick.
Okay.
And then so I can binge it.
Oh, okay.
I think it was before Netflix, definitely.
Yeah.
So we had to download it illegally.
Right,
And
yeah.
watch it, or like your friend would give it to you on the hard drive or something.
Yeah, I remember streaming it on some
I was not hooked
whacked
right
out
away.
channel.
Yeah.
You weren't hooked right away?
I was not hooked
Yeah.
right away, but it like slowly grew on me because it was
Right.
so intense.
So intense. That's
Yeah.
honestly, I think, probably my favorite drama.
Your favorite drama?
Yeah.
Fair.
Greg Rosen, mutual friend.
Yes.
Him and I were like hooked after
Yeah.
like the first scene. I'm like, how is this? It's not going to end well.
Yeah.
We know it's not
Yeah.
going to end well. Anyway, great show. I'm glad you enjoyed your time at Columbia.
Yeah.
I remember, a bunch of people from Ryerson were really proud that you were going there and
thank you
stuff.
so
like
much.
it was really cool. And just New York generally. Like,
Yeah.
what was it like living?
Oh my gosh, it was so like exciting. I remember at that age, I was like, anything is possible. I'll try anything. You're walking home and you're like, that's the Empire State Building. And you're like running, you're like, wow, this is Central Park.
Yeah.
And not as if Toronto wasn't a big city, but it was just like all these movies are filmed in New York City. And you start to realize that like people go to New York to make their dreams happen.
Right.
So like, you're kind of the best version of yourself at that time.
Take me through like the neighborhoods in New York. Can you do this?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
So you have the Upper West Side, which is where Columbia is.
Okay.
Very family. There's a park on it spans the entire West Side. Riverside Park, my favorite park to jog in. And then you go down. Upper East Side is on the other side. It's actually really hard to get across because you have to take the crosstown bus through Central Park, but it's actually a nice ride on
Okay.
the bus. And my best friend was doing med school at that time. She's from Toronto. We met in Chinese school, but she did college in the States and then ended up in New York for med school.
Right.
So she was actually someone that I spent a lot of time with in New York, and her friends too. So I wasn't too lonely in New York, and
good.
that made like life different because her friends were, they knew the city well. So we would go out on Friday nights. Yeah, it was just very warm time, I think.
So where's the hip area to go out? I'm sure there's many.
Well, it
but
really depends what you
yeah.
like. Like if you like the West Village is more like artsy. I remember in the springtime the overarching like cherry blossoms. There's Gramercy, which is like a little bit fancy. There's one thing in New York I don't think people know. I lived on like 20th and like almost First, and I walk by Gramercy, that area. It's very fancy all the time. And I was like, oh, this park looks amazing. Let me go in. And I try to open the gate, and I'm like, how come this park is locked? Who locks parks? Like, what's going on? Like, I understand there's gates for like children and dogs and whatever, but apparently in that area, because it's so ritzy, you need a key to get into that park.
Oh,
so
wow.
people who live around that area
Have a key.
have a key.
Wow.
And you cannot go in until like you have that key. And it's
So you've never been in?
I've never been into that one park.
You would need to make friends with the neighbors, I guess.
Exactly.
Wow, that's wild.
Isn't that wild?
Yeah.
Imagine if Toronto locked up their parks.
Yeah.
That's unheard of.
Yeah, I've never heard of that.
Maybe it's because they pay for the upkeep. I don't know. I actually don't know. Yeah.
Interesting. Did you like find yourself going to like Broadway shows and stuff like that, or
I actually
you're
didn't
too
go
busy?
to too many Broadway shows. I went to the Cellar, the Underground
Comedy Cellar.
The Comedy Cellar.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
really enjoyed that.
Anyone performing that night that we would know, or was it mostly like people working out stuff?
Mostly people working out stuff. There was one person at the end, Godfrey, I believe. He was really good. I really enjoy him. Every time he's like has clips online, I'll still watch it. And that time the show opener was Jared Freed.
Okay.
He has like 2 podcasts right now.
Right. I have him on Twitter.
Oh, you do?
Yeah.
J Train.
Yes.
So he was the opener, but at that time he hadn't started doing his like the J Train podcast or You Up yet. So
Okay, cool.
yeah.